there, everyone. Bobby D.
And I am Erin with Inspire Hearts Fundraising.
And here we are on the heart of the gala, our Valentine's Day episode, celebrating 2 years of our podcast. Can you believe it, Erin?
No, I can't believe that at all. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Galentine's Day. Happy Palentine's Day. Happy celebrating Heart Day.
All the things. And why did we create Inspire Hearts Fundraising in the first place? I think we got to talk a little bit about origin story here.
Origin story. So Bobby and I both come from family backgrounds of auctioneers, both incredible mother auctioneers, which is not common at all. We make it seem common, but it's not common. And we also have Bobby's stepdad, and my grandfather. And our family was into auctions, and so we knew auctions. And then we got into fundraising auctions. We both created our own fundraising auction company. And mine's been open for 20 years this year. This is big years.
This is a big year. So Star Benefit Auctions, founded 20 years ago.
20 years ago with the idea that fundraising auctions were a world that needed professional benefit auctioneers. They needed somebody to do that. And that was not a thing at the time. And I'll use my mom as a reference, she sold heavy machinery, and on the side, she did some fundraising. So I wanted to specialize in only fundraising auctions. I will tell you that my mom's story, this is good for you to understand, perspective-wise, is like 80s and 90s fundraising auctions. She thought she was magic because every time she was at a gala, she's like, I am just the world's best auctioneer because we raise millions of dollars when we sell, like we are selling a roll of toilet paper made by a kindergartner for $100,000. What is happening? And what we realized once the introduction of the paddle raise, things changed.
Ooh, everything changed. Okay, so hold that 1 second. So Erin, Star Benefit Auctions, me, founded in 2014, call to auction, because auction is action with you in it. Dad jokes, I know. So I came from the auction world as well, the automobile auction world. Woke up one day, I was like, wait a minute, not giving me the warm and fuzzies. Let's go do something that does. And working with nonprofits is that, like, this is my passion. This is our passion. We met many years ago, about 10 years ago at a conference. It was a fundraising auctioneer conference and stayed in connection with that. But then in 2017 is when we got together as partners in life and then partners in business, and we
fell in love.
We did, and we
fell in love on the auction block.
There's a song about that, and we were having conversations throughout this, and
back to my story. The world changed.
Everything changed
because we realized with the introduction of the Fund a Need, paddle raise, special appeal, whatever you're calling it, cash call, paddles up, all the things. We realized that it wasn't about the auctioneer. Record scratch. Again, remember the background. All of our family is auctioneers. We are champion auctioneers. We love auctions. We have auction companies.
Blasphemy. And
here's mom saying, wait, it's not about the auction. What is it about? Oh, it's about philanthropy.
That's right. It's not auctions. It's not transactional giving. And here we are, both champion auctioneers, multi-generational auctioneers, and we are now the preeminent experts.
So we opened a company saying, no, it's not about the auction. No. It's about the paddle raise.
It is. It's all about the paddle raise.
So our company, Inspire Hearts Fundraising, which is why we're here today, is paddle raise only events.
Oh,
dun,
yes.
Dun, dun,
dun, dun, dun. We have to come up with a better name than that. Paddle raise only, cash call, fund the needs, special appeal.
Special appeal.
Special appeal is good.
Because we do an appeal, we do an annual appeal. We understand the word appeal in the fundraising world, but this is a special moment.
What about give from the heart paddle raise? Kind of that give from the heart, huh?
Oh, you Valentine's Day little cherub, you.
Yes. I mean, we are definitely, we do wear our hearts on our sleeves, obviously. Like if you can see that, I've got one.
Oh, we're so cheesy.
That's super cheesy. For those of you that are listening, Erin and I each have a tattoo on our wrists of our microphone hands that we hold the microphone with when we're at fundraising events.
And they have matching heart tattoos.
Yes, and we're very, very cute. So anyways, moving on, talking about these paddle raise only events.
Well, I want to just touch back to mom saying that she thought the toilet paper that was worth $100,000 was because she was an amazing auctioneer. What we realized is that it was an only opportunity for people to make the big donations that they wanted to make. So they would buy things for ridiculous amounts of money. Now, this would cause to more alcohol at events. It would cause to distance giving. It would cause to FOMO. It would also cause you to have buyer's remorse the next day. People feeling the feeling. I can't believe I just bought a roll
Or
of toilet paper.
alienate an entire audience minus the one person that makes a donation.
Yeah, the rest of the group's like, well, I guess I'm not important. I can't give. Well, now Paddle Raise gives an opportunity for people to all feel included, all feel special. And those big donors still get to make their big mark and those big moments, but so does everybody else. And I'm going to say even a $100 donor is a big donor.
Oh my gosh. Well, so there's been this evolution in the event world talking about, it's not transaction, it's about transformation. And now this will be our 6th year in business, and there are many more clients that are coming to us, organizations that are coming to us and asking us the question, do we have to have an auction?
Or they figure they have to hire an auctioneer.
Right. Oh, we need to get the fast talker.
Well, it's not even about the fast talker. They just think they have to hire the auctioneer. And then they're like, well, we've hired this auctioneer. Are we supposed to have an auction? But we're not doing an auction. So do we hire an auctioneer? The answer is yes. You hire a professional in this. We happen to be auctioneers, but there are other people that are not auctioneers that do this as well. But it's about the fundraising mindset. It's more about being a benefit auction specialist, being a benefit auctioneer, a fundraising auctioneer, or just somebody, I think we call them fundraising hosts. I love that name. That's what we call ourselves, fundraising hosts of the event. So we, instead of emceeing the entire event, we're hosting and emceeing, although we do that too. We're hosting the fundraising portion of the event. And that is really special. And that helps people get their minds around it on why that role is so special and significant and different than having to have an auction because you have an auctioneer, or having to have an auction because you've always had an auction, or thinking that was where the money would come from,
Yeah. So then we've got lots of organizations again that are like, okay, well, we want to create a more philanthropic atmosphere. We want something that's not so transactional. We also want to make our program a lot shorter.
Oh, amen.
Amen, sister. And with the way that the world is now evolving, attention spans are shrinking. Like our kids are watching Instagram or YouTube shorts, which are 45 seconds. And they're like, it's storytelling in that short amount of time. And adults, and now the multi-generational individuals that are attending these events, I mean, the attention span is shrinking.
They want to just swipe on you.
Yeah, they're next. And especially if it's boring, it's like, or boring speeches, or like we're not engaged or whatever. So it's about creating that storytelling at the event, talking about your mission, which we're going to dive into quite a bit more, and then giving that opportunity for everyone to be able to give. And that's that difference between auction and paddle race. Everybody can give. Everybody can be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's why it's so effective. And with these paddle raise only events, I mean, you don't need to worry about the silent auction. You don't need to worry about the live auction. We don't need to do the raffles. It's just pure event philanthropy, which I love, obviously. So now, Aaron, we want to talk a little bit about the different, how you would say, motivations of donors that are at events and why they give.
No, that wasn't my question, Bobby.
What was your question?
Why do people raise their paddles?
Ooh, why do people raise their paddles?
Like, that's it. Like, I think that's a really big thing to talk about. It's because you've just given one example by saying what is their motivation. So they're motivated, right? Yes. So they're motivated to raise their paddle, but they don't always just raise it because they're motivated. So I want you to talk about tell me about motivated person raising their paddle.
Well, I have this saying. It's called the golden goosebump moment. And that's the crescendo of the event. That's it's on the bell curve. It's right in the spot where everyone is, the most motivated, the most inspired.
For those of you who can't see Bobby, he's just made a motion of his bell curve. So he starts off on a lower point of the event, which is the building moment. And I want you to know that Bobby thinks this moment starts before the event.
Way before the event. Like if you're planning an event a year from now, it starts now.
Yes.
And all the communications, everything.
Everything leads up. So communication, entrance into the event, cocktail hour, everything is leading up on the bell curve to where Bobby gets to the highest point, which is
the golden goosebump moment, which is the pinnacle of this this energy that's in the room, where everyone, like, they're like, this is the time to take action. They're on the edge of their seats. They're like, what can I do to help to make an impact on this organization, on this mission, on these people that they're serving? And that's where we come in. That's where we make the big ask. We make that special appeal and say, friends, this is that time to give. And now the motivation motivations of a donor are so different. Some people are giving for tax reasons. They like, here, I get a tax write-off. That's what everybody thinks, right? No, that's not why they only give. They're giving because it aligns with their legacy. It aligns with their morals, their culture. This is something that we believe in, and we want to be a part of this. So that's a lot of the motivation that many donors have to raise their paddle, because they're like, here, I want to make it. I want to make a difference on this mission.
So I feel like what you're talking about right now is somebody who cares about the mission.
Yep.
And they're coming to the gala because they care about the mission.
Yes.
And they're going to raise their paddle.
Yeah. They're like, here, I want to make a difference. Here, $1,000, $5,000, whatever it's going to be. They want to make a difference.
All right, I like it. Now, what about the person who comes as a guest to the event?
Ooh, the guest. Well, there's a lot of...
They don't know the mission.
They don't know the mission. Well, that's where it's your job as the nonprofits to tell the story. You got to tell your mission. You got to share your mission. You have to share the impact that you are having on those that you're serving. And this becomes a beautiful time to educate your audience, especially those new guests and those donors that are there. They don't know what you do. They don't know who you are. They don't know who you serve. And what a better platform to really, build up that energy and that inspiration and then motivation to be able to give.
So now we're back to your bell curve. And on that bell curve of growth, I want you to tell me from the event, they walk in the front door as a guest to the event because they don't have the pre-marketed mission match, right? They just come as a guest. I want you to give me like 3 examples of things that will motivate and inspire them in ways people can tell their mission either to do or not to do right before mission moment. So now I'm talking from door opening to paddle raise.
To paddle raise. So there's lots of things that can, happen. You have to look at the donor journey as someone's entering into this event. It's like, what can you do? There's so many, it's called the cocktail hour. I don't want to call it the cocktail hour. It's the connection hour. Here's where we're connecting guests and donors to the mission. And this is a way that we can build up, that feeling inside of them as we're coming in, whether you have, you're maybe a group that serves kids and you've got the kids at the front and they're cheerleaders. Yay!
Okay, so that's one example. Is kids for a kids event, having some kids. Give me another example in the connection hour. We're just going to give like 2 examples in the connection hour.
Okay.
Go for it.
And then there's an activation. You could create a mission-based activation. There was a domestic violence group that I had worked with. It was like a choose your own, I hate to say adventure, but choose your own fate kind of thing, where they walk through the shoes or walked in the shoes of someone that is.
This is during the connection hour?
It's during the connection
Tell
hour.
me more.
So as they're going from station to station, they're hearing a story about an individual that's experiencing domestic violence. And all of a sudden now they reach a decision point. They're like, do I go this way or do I go this way? And then they go a different way. And then there's another decision point that they need to make. And there are some that are on this journey, that are on this, choose your own path, where it ends up very bad, like, maybe
so
death,
we're talking about sharing a survivor story.
Yep.
And this can be any capacity, right? A survivor story.
Right.
If you're, different organization. And telling the story of the journey of the survivor how would they do that during cocktail hour?
Well, again, it's these different stations, different tables. You have volunteers, you have storytellers that are within that, and then you get to the kind of that why of where.
So kind of like a murder mystery night.
Essentially, yes.
You're going to get little tidbits along the way. Now, I have seen this done at the same type of organization. They use like a cardboard cutout of a person, and they added a child to it. So as they walk down the hallway, they were integrating different stories as they were just reading on these cardboard cutouts of the person. So they weren't using a specific survivor, and it wasn't, I don't know, using that person. It was just a cardboard cutout of a white little blockhead person, and on that white they were able to write the mission statement. They were able to write the journey of that person and incorporate the mission statement, how they got help, who they introduced, who they met, as also with it. I want to tell you about my favorite is, because I'm going to tell you a cocktail hour story.
Okay. Connection hour.
Connection hour. My favorite. Can I tell you the name? I love them so much.
Go for it.
Make-A-Wish.
Oh.
Now, there's one specific Make-A-Wish that lives in my heart deeper than any other moment, because their connection hour, they took guests as they were entering. They would come in, they would get their information, they would go into like almost a big auditorium, gymnasium kind of place. They followed a journey along the ground, They followed a pathway that took them through these blow up igloos. Inside each sort of blow up igloo, I'm calling it, they had one wish. And they would totally decorate the wish about, so if they had like an underwater theme, so this is a little girl who wanted to be a mermaid, this is a little boy who wanted to meet Shamu, this is a kid who wanted to go jet skiing, and they shared stories of all those wishes that were granted. Then he went to a sports globe or a one, and it was all the pictures of kids with the different sports things, and it showed wishes that were granted. And then the very last one they went through, because they made a journey through a whole bunch, the very last one was the Hall of Wishes, and it gave an opportunity, and it said, had a big mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, you can grant the next wish.
You can grant the next wish.
How?
Look at that.
Woo, golden goosebumps, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but that, so, and I'm going to give another example, because I'm going to do two, is that in park events, I love a connection activation station in a park event. What is your favorite memory in the park? Just having them write that gets them into the mindset. So we have gotten our audience now into the mindset when they walk into the room. So if you came to as a guest, you are in the emotional activated space of the organization. So you have left your babysitter drama at home, and now you are starting to get wrapped up in the feels of the nonprofit.
Yes, you're in this, what we call the heart space.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are, living through those that you're serving. You're walking a mile in their shoes and seeing how this organization is able to truly impact and change lives. And here we are. Now we're entering into the ballroom, or
Tell me.
the event space.
Tell me, you're coming as a guest, Bobby.
All right, so we're coming into the ballroom. We're coming into the event space. You really have to look at what that first impression is going to be. Really look at the wow moment. Really, you can showcase again mission, donor-centric fundraising speak. Because of you, you can grant a wish. You can save a life, and you have these big, beautiful screens that have the PowerPoint on them. You have to use those. And as we're building up this bell curve, it's all these different messages that are there. And that's just, that entrance into that. So now everyone takes their seats, and at the tables, this is such a powerful method or strategy that you can use, is at the tables, having table hosts or having participants at that table to talk about the programs that affected them or the programs that they're using to make an impact on the world, and having that individual at every one of those tables. Now it focuses again that conversation towards the task at hand, which is the fundraise, which is to help build the fundraising machine, or put the fuel in that tank to make this mission a reality. And we haven't got to the program yet. This is like the first 5 minutes.
No, it's the first. We're at about an hour and a half.
Oh, yes, of the event. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I was meaning in the ballroom.
But as they're coming in, another thing is their centerpieces. I think that there's a lot of wasted space. So there's a couple different methods here, and I like a couple different styles of them. One of them is going to be very contrary to what you feel, Bobby, is I do think a classy event. So if you are going classy, elegant, like we just did an event that you walked into that ballroom and went,
Yeah.
Right? It was so gorgeous. But do you remember in the hallways as you were getting there were these huge, what were those screens that were up there? And they had messaging along the way. Even in the silent auction area, they had on the walls, they had messaging up on the walls. So they incorporated mission through it, but they didn't lose the elegance of the event. But the centerpieces, you can put stories on your centerpieces. You can put table stanchions. You can put those little tripod things on your stations. Table tents. I couldn't think of the word.
I love when an organization, there's a group out there that has iPads that plays a video, or have, say you're raising money for a school. It has the children that are on there, and it's words on photos, it's words on video, and that centerpiece becomes a very powerful piece of storytelling that lends to all of this.
Yep, absolutely. So, all right. So now they're getting a program. Now, I don't want us to get too in the weeds here. How much time left do we have? We don't want to get too in the weeds here about dissecting a mission in the
20 minutes
in the program. Oh yeah, I have some other things I want to talk about. So I just want, give me a little rough draft here of leading up to the golden goosebump moment.
So you're at program, people are sat down, welcome to the event. What is going to be your first act? What's going to be your grand opening? How are you going to capture that attention and show your guests and your donors that this isn't going to be a normal gala. This is going to be filled with inspiration and an opportunity to make a big difference. So maybe it's a video that comes on. Maybe it's a surprise entrance by your MC or your fundraising host. Maybe the lights go down and the video comes up. Different ways that you can capture that attention. But it's that first impression. Whomever takes the stage is really going to set the tone. For that evening, and putting the focus at the task at hand. Again, we're not there to just talk about blah 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 blah. We're there to talk about funding this mission.
Set their expectations in that welcome. Let them know there's going to be a paddle raise.
We are here to raise as much money as we can, and we invite you to raise your paddles and join us in that.
Yep, that'll happen a little bit later in our program. We are so excited to thank our co-chairs, thank our so-and-sos, all these people. We have to do our thank yous, but we are staying on task. We're not getting into the boring speeches. That'll be after the fundraising.
After that. So Erin, so it sounds like we're fundraising early.
Oh, I fundraise first.
First?
I love to fundraise.
You don't wait until the absolute end of the event?
Oh, don't be silly. You know I don't do that. Oh, that gives me heart palpitations thinking about it. People want to leave, folks. Dessert gets served. They are out the door. People are bored by fundraising. People are not respectful for fundraising. We know all of those things. We all cringe when we say those words. Bury it. Let them have a beautiful experience coming in. Let them have a beautiful experience going out. Bury it in the middle. Get up there early, fundraise, and then celebrate the incredible honorees and the work the honorees have done. Let them speak. Let them thank mom and grandpa and whatever they have to do. If you are under the pressure of having to fundraise after them, is that fair to your honoree?
No.
Let them have their celebration time and let them know we're going to celebrate you at the end so that you have time. Let them know we're going to celebrate you at the end because we're saving the best for last and we want to end on a high note. So there are reasons to have that. Now, we've always done it the other way. Can we say that? No, because remember mom in the 80s, they didn't even have funded needs.
Right.
They didn't even have heart. What did you call it? Gift from the heart moments.
Yeah.
All right. So Bobby, I'm going to get here. We're at the paddle raise. Oh, so we skipped a step.
Probably the most important step, our story that leads into this fundraising. Whether it's a testimonial of a participant, maybe it's the life of unlived, maybe it's the because of you video. There's so many different ways you can tell that story to showcase the need. Really, share that case for support. Like, this is why we need your help, and you just have to pick one really, really, really good story that will resonate with this audience. And there's many people that are out there to help you develop this. There's a lot of great video producers that are out there to help you to create this. There's speech writers.
I'm going to give a little plug here for our friends at Beard and Bowler.
I saw those guys last night.
I know. So Beard and Bowler is a company that specializes in funded need videos.
Yeah.
Find somebody that understands what a funded need video is.
Yep.
What does a gift from the heart video need to incorporate? So I love them. I know that they elevate fundraising. They make my job so easy. There are others out there. Y'all can reach out to us because we need other companies.
Yes.
But in the meantime, Beard and Bowler are our go-to guys. Hopefully, hey guys, we love you.
What's up?
Thanks for making us look good and thanks for helping the fundraising. What's important here is that they are taking stories and they're making them into impactful moments, condensing them, making them short enough, making them engaging enough, telling a story. We love videos. We also love speakers.
Yes.
But we have to train our speakers.
Yes.
We don't just find somebody that has a story and let them get up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's shorter, sweeter, small sentiments, and making sure that they're including these fundraising conversation that's in here. Because of you, you changed my life. Thank you for donors like you. And it's again putting the spotlight on the guests and the donors. They're the heroes in this situation. So we've just seen this video. Everybody, I literally have goosebumps right now. Now what?
So then this is what I want to know, Bobby. They're in this moment. What makes somebody raise their paddle?
What makes somebody raise their paddle? Well,
you just told me one reason that people do. No, you told me two reasons that people raise their paddle. You told me that people love the mission they came, they're going to raise their paddle. You told me people are now inspired, they're going to raise their paddle. Can you think of another reason people are raising their paddles?
Somebody asked them.
Ooh, good job. Somebody asked.
Like a direct ask. Like, friends, we invite you to raise that paddle at that level that's meaningful or that's inspirational for you. And people don't give unless they're asked, and you have to make that direct ask. I mean, there's so many events that I hear that it's a passive fundraising. If you'd like to grab your phone and make a donation, please click on the QR code or blah 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 blah. It's passive. It's not. I mean, yes, it's a suggestion, but it's
a call to action.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's
all right. So Bobby wants an ask, call to action. Here's one I have for you. Because they're smiling.
Ooh.
I know.
Their hearts are just a flutter.
They feel good. You are more likely to raise your paddle if you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we have just ripped their hearts out and they're crying, and I get that, but we're going to take that moment. We're going to cradle that moment, give space for that moment, feel the mission. Then we're going to come together and solve the problem. Right? And they're going to feel good doing it.
Yes.
So Bobby, my strategy when we are doing this is sometimes we're high-fiving folks. Sometimes we're cheering. We want activation. We want excitement. It builds on energy. It keeps going. We often get the question, start high or start low. We always start high. That's our style because there are less people giving in those high capacities. We want to end with everybody in the room having an opportunity to have given. That is another reason people smile. Our last event we just did, we called it out. We said, oh my goodness, we were only level 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, level 3 by the time one full table had donated. And that's big. So we're talking people giving $20,000+ to start us off. Not that kind of organization. We got to level 3, 100% participation. Well, you bet your bottom. When we got to level 5, people were shouting out, our whole table gave. And we were calling them out all the time of all the tables that were giving full participation. Our goal for that event was 100% participation. We have what I like to say is 150% in that room because we had more than the amount of households. So we had 200 people in the room. Hypothetically, 100% would be 100 people. That's 100 households. We consider couples as one household. We had 150 gifts. So we had more donors than households. That means that people either gave multiple times or they and their spouse gave, but they were so wrapped into this moment, they felt so good. And I know they felt good. And we also, okay, keep going. I have another reason that people give.
So what we're talking about is that good, feel good, feeling. There's a biochemical response that happens. Dopamine floods the body. It's just like, oh, this feels so good. This is an accomplishment that we're able to do together. Here's a new term that I am going to be utilizing from now on. What that feeling and what that spirit in the room when it's a group of people coming together to do something amazing, to do something to impact the world, it's called collective effervescence.
You're so cheesy.
This is a true psychology term. It's called collective effervescence, where there is an energy in the room that everyone feels this, and they want to continue to enhance this. That's why live music works. That's why live sports works. It is that collective effervescence where everyone is able to feel everyone at the same time.
You have just cut into my next reason people raise their paddles.
What's the next reason for people raise their paddles, Erin?
My next reason for people to raise their paddles is peer pressure.
Oh, yeah. Peer pressure, son of a bitch.
You see your friends raise their paddles, you raise your paddle too.
Yes.
Now, I'm not saying they are staring you down and saying if you don't raise your paddle, we can't celebrate 100% participation. But I am saying they're seeing their friends raise their paddles. They're seeing board members raise their paddles. I say it again.
Raise your paddles.
We have to get our board members raising their paddles. Even if they are giving at different times of the year, they have to activate. When they see leadership raising their paddles, when they see friends, when they see people they trust raising their paddles and supporting your organization, we see more paddles raised.
This is the way. This is the way that we're giving. And what else they're seeing is they're seeing that joy. They're seeing that accomplishment across the table. Their friends are feeling this and they're like, I want to feel like that too.
All right. Can you think of another reason people raise their paddles? Do you want me to go? I have a list in my head of reasons. Ready?
Go.
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes? What? Tchotchkes?
I just had to say
for
that word.
Stuff?
People will raise their paddles because they're getting a little hoo-hoo. And I don't know what that could be. So our most recent event went so funny. They had magic wands. At the end, they had these little gold streamers. They were sort of somewhere between a magic wand and a a cheerleading pom-pom.
Yep.
And they had lights and they were lighting up this space and they were cheering for each other. They loved it. So every time they raised their paddle, they got a thing. They get a blinky light, they get a candle, they get a special gift, they get a message, they get something that is part of that movement. That is, again, peer pressure, but keep going.
Can I give you my favorite?
It's also FOMO because they don't want to miss out on having the item.
That's right.
Especially if all their friends are walking around with magic wands and they're not walking around with a magic wand.
My favorite tchotchke, or token of giving as we call it, is we had the Olympics very recently, the gold medal at a Boys and Girls Club event. They had these medals, and as people raised their paddle, they had kids that were out there, putting the ribbons, putting the gold medal on the donors because they were champions of giving, and everybody in that room wanted to be a champion. And the organization said, "How many gold medals should we get?" And I'm like, "Well, how many people are coming?" I'm like, 300. I'm like, 300 because everybody wants to be a part of this, and you don't want to run out. You want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to be that champion. And yes, so yeah, I want that thing.
Yeah, they want to be a part of it. Okay, so here is my biggest thing from 2024. So, or for many years growing, I tell all of my clients, people give because. That's it. They give because. You need to give them a reason to give. So now we're talking about, this reason that people raise their paddles is because there's a reason. This reason, however, can look completely different for every single event. The reason could be because you get a tchotchke, like we just talked about. The reason could be because it supports X amount of people doing X amount of things. It could be because it pays for X amount of nails to build this roof. It could be because you have this many participants. It could be because it's 13,000 and Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13. That has happened so many times. It could be because there's a match.
Yes.
A challenge match. We need to get 10 people right now and we will have this gift matched. That is so much fuel. There is a because. So they want to give because. Give them a because of whatever reasons we can come up with. You work with your fundraising host to really come up with some reasons at every level. Now, I will tell you, don't go through a reason at every single level.
You don't need it too much.
Because that is way too long. But have it on the ready. Be ready to pump up some reasons. Strategically place your reasons, where they go, in which levels they go in to generate more. For example, we just added a level to an organization and added a match there to get a brand new level to push everybody up a little bit more. And
beautiful.
They went crazy for it.
They did go crazy, and then they raised an extra 50% more money than they would have raised if they just asked at that standard.
And they were
level.
so nervous; they thought I was going to get crickets. Silly! I've never had crickets in my life.
Well, Erin, so there's. That you really pointed out a really important point of the reason you work with an experienced fundraising host, because they have that back pocket story. They know the impact numbers. They know the correct messaging. They speak your language, but also they know when to shut up.
Oh, that's very important.
Like we'll have organizations that are like, no, here at this level it does this, and this level it does this, and this level it does this, and this, and this, and this, and then at the end of the night they're like, well, why didn't you say that? We didn't need to.
Yeah, you'd still be waiting for presentations after an honorees if we went through all of those things. Yeah. Because if there's hands in the air, we can move along.
Yeah. Keep the momentum. It's all about building momentum is what it is.
But the difference is, and most people I think don't know this, is that what an auctioneer is really doing is psychology. When they are up on a podium or a stage, they are reading into a bidder. And I'm talking like serious auction language here. I'm talking about like even a car auctioneer, any kind of auctioneer. They are selling from their podium and they are reading the audience and they are reading why somebody is bidding.
What's that motivation?
Are they going to bid more? Are they interested? Are they fighting with their partner? Or are they talking about how they could leverage finances to bid again with their partner?
Yep.
What is happening? We use a team on the floor so that we can listen in on some of those messages and communicate them to our auctioneer so that it can go even faster. That's one of our secrets. But as as a fundraising host, as a previous auctioneer, this is so important to understand. While we're on stage during those messaging moments, we might need to lean into the stories. We might need to pull on those becauses. We might need to pull on the heartstrings. We might need to just move along.
We might need to talk about the numbers. Sometimes there's very analytical groups that are out there that need to see the numbers. But again, in an audience, there's two different types of people. There's the numbers people, and then there's the feel good people, type A, type B. And that's what it's about. You're talking to everyone and making sure that you're hitting those points. But again, we don't have to sometimes. And as that momentum's going and those paddles are going and that energy is building, that collective effervescence is just shining through, you keep it going. You want people to be involved, and almost the shorter time that we create within it, the more effective that it is. And because then paddles are going up. Thank you, number 1, 2, 3. Thank you, 3, 4, 4. Thank you, 7, 7, 7. Thank you, 8, 8, 8. Aaron, they're asking us.
That was fun.
Why do we have to use paddles?
Well, what? No, that's not a question. I was in the middle. I had a question here. Why do they raise paddles? So we're going to say why. Okay, I will quickly say why we use paddles: to make it quicker, more efficient, and to encourage all of the things I said before: peer pressure, excitement, mission, want to be part of a thing, FOMO, tchotchke recognition.
Doesn't need Wi-Fi.
It doesn't need Wi-Fi.
Yes. And people give to people. People don't give to robots. Robots make terrible fundraisers. And when I'm talking robots, we're talking the technologies and all that kind of stuff. But when those paddles go up, there's something about that motion and something about, the audience seeing you. You feel pride within that. You're very, you're like, I'm excited to do this. But then the rest of the audience sees that. They're like, okay, yes, we want to do that too. And that's why paddles are so dang effective. And yes, there are chances, there's opportunities where technology giving is very effective. You have to build up that culture to make sure people are into that.
It's a whole different event, a whole different podcast.
That's a whole nother conversation.
And you can do it. We can do it. We get that. I raised $3 million in a text to give one time.
Yeah.
It's happened.
In 8 minutes. It was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
But when I got off stage, the donations were not even fully in.
They broke
because I broke the internet.
She broke the internet.
So, but I do want to just talk about how technology does have a place in the gala format.
Yes.
We're talking about specifically like a texting to give situation, which is a different format of giving and donating onto your devices versus building up the emotion and giving in the emotional moment. We don't want to lose that impact that you've just built by going onto a device.
We're building them into that heart space. You spend so much time and energy and money invested into this, putting your guests into that headspace and that heart space. The last thing you want to do is say, all right, friends, now grab your phones.
Right.
And then what happens when we see our phones?
Yeah.
Notifications. I have notifications now. You have the babysitter. There's a dentist appointment for the kids tomorrow, by the way.
It's today.
Oh.
Good job, honey. Do you have any other reasons that people raise their paddles? Oh, this is so good. This is Stump the Bobby game.
And there's an incentive. Like we talked about the match already, but maybe there's an incentive to be able to give. Sometimes at a certain level. My favorite is date night for a year at a local restaurant.
You have lost me. All those words came out, but they didn't make sense. Huh? How did they get a date night for the year? What does that have to do with anything?
Everybody that gives at the $1,000 level, one individual, one paddle, will have the chance to win date night for a year. This is an incentive.
Ooh.
An incentive to be able to give. They may win something because they gave. Still feels good to give, but there's an incentive to be able to raise your paddle, or for that suggestion to raise your paddle.
And that you do that at different levels? So you can have a different incentive at one level?
We don't do it at all levels.
I love that.
I like, we could maybe 2 levels. I think you could probably create some type of incentive like that.
Okay. I like it. That's a good one.
You didn't think of that?
No.
Yes, I win.
How about this one, Bobby?
Okay. What do you got, Aaron? Why do they raise their paddle?
Because they're drunk.
No.
Just wanted to see Bobby's cringe face.
There's nothing worse than a drunk audience during the fundraising. Actually, yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of our clients for next year's event, and they were still waiting on $30,000 to be paid from the last gala because there were people that were having a really, really good time, and they wanted to be seen raising their paddles because they were drunk, and then they didn't follow through with that donation.
Okay, Bobby, you love science, you love numbers, you love statistics. What is optimal alcohol consumption level for a paddle raise?
1.8 drinks.
There you go, folks. You've heard it here first.
There's something called a diaphoretic curve. You can Google it, but it is very similar to that bell curve, where the level of intoxication is prime for generosity, is prime for energy, is prime for giving. But then once you go past that, it goes downhill really fast.
So, folks, we have just said they have an hour in their cocktail hour. That's one drink in cocktail hour. You sit down, you have a beverage in front of you. The beverage is not gone yet when you're fundraising. Once you get past that into drink 2 or 3, hearing goes.
Yes, that's right. Hearing goes, focus goes,
kindness goes, respect goes.
Right.
So, yeah, they might make a paddle gift, but don't rely on that money and don't rely on not scaring them away.
You don't need to get them drunk. Some people say, let's get them toasted. Lightly toasted is the thing. But, Erin,
I want them feeling good.
We want them to feel good, but do we have to have alcohol at our event?
No.
What?
Yes.
What?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that question.
I do.
I happen to really like alcohol at events, but I've definitely done dry events before and they were fine.
I've hosted some dry events that were amazing. It still created that collective effervescence. Breakfasts, brunches, lunch. We don't need to have a beverage that early, an adult beverage that early in the morning.
You have to have a mimosa.
Well, you can also just have orange juice or coffee.
We have seen everything that is raised far in between. We have seen everything from, like Bobby's mentioning, dry events to events where when they leave, they're given vapes of THC and gummies on their way out the door. I mean, we have literally seen it all.
That's right.
And we can help you with guidance if you're going to incorporate something out of the box. Definitely talk to your fundraising expert on how they can make the most out of that.
Yes.
So, Bobby, here's my last reason people raise their paddle. I'm sure I have a lot more reasons. Are you ready? Or do you have another one for why people raise their paddle? I'm just going to keep saying until you think of something. You're so pretty. Isn't Bobby pretty, folks?
It's because I have this feather lamp behind me.
This office. We're in my office, by the way, folks. This is my cutesy office.
This is where the magic happens. This is one of our new studios that we're able to broadcast from.
It's my live Instagram wall. I've taken some of my highlights of events. This is a picture of me with a hedge. That's right. It was a park event, one of my favorite parks, Riverside Park.
You know what I'm seeing here? Everybody is happy in this.
Look at all these people raising their paddles. They can't see this. This is our family photo moment with our favorite MC.
Feels good.
Holding up all their paddles.
Feels
I love
good.
that moment.
Okay, why? What is the last reason why someone would want to raise their paddle?
Oh, because we're on stage.
No.
Yes.
Nobody cares.
Oh, no, they do.
They do? Just,
We're
oh
really
my gosh,
good at
Erin Ward is here. I'm going to raise my paddle because she's here.
All right, just because we're fundraising experts and we understand what we're doing in those moments. And when you have somebody leading the charge that you trust, because, there's my reason.
Trust.
You take the reason of because it's us. I'm going to take the reason of trust. They need to trust who's on stage. And that is very, very important.
Okay.
We dress in a very specific way. Almost, so when I want you to think of a paddle raise, I want you to think of like a Target end cap and all of the science and psychology that goes into making that successful and why it exists, why Target aisles exist the way they do, and the music that they play and the sounds that they play and the smells that are in there and the placement. Your paddle raise needs that much attention. It really does. You are really marketing a moment there. And so one of the things, if you are a very wealthy person, you need to trust that there is somebody that understands you on stage. If you are not an exceptional wealthy person, you need to feel seen and trust who is on stage. So if you get somebody up there that would rather talk about the Yankees score than your mission, I don't trust them to give them my money.
Well, it goes deeper than the trust of the individual on stage as making the ask. It's the trust in the organization. The more donors trust the organization and they trust the leadership,
True,
the more they're willing to give. So with all of this storytelling and all this inspiration building that we're getting to, that golden goosebump moment is showing and building that trust that your donors, they're going to give you money and you're going to do what you say with it. You're like, okay, we're gonna raise a lot of money tonight, and we are going to do what we have promised you that we are going to do through our mission and impact the world with your help. So trust is yes. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I'm going to go back to the point you threw on me now because we're on stage. Well, yes, us, hire us. We want to be your fundraising host, but there are a lot of them that are out there. But it's that individual on stage and the comfortability that they have within themselves and their performance and their presence, their voice, the tone of their voice, the words that they are choosing, and the confidence to be able to do two of the hardest things in the entire world. Number one is
Ask for money.
Number two is
Public speaking.
And if this individual on stage can't do those two things, guess what happens? Everybody in the audience is like, oh, I don't want to be that person. Oh, I don't want to watch it.
I feel bad for them.
Bad for them. Oh, I can never do that. Now we take them again.
I turn it off. I start talking so that they don't feel bad. We start turning their attention away from them so that we don't feel bad for them. We turn a room.
Yeah. Or the record scratch happens. They said, what?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
Please, friends, please use somebody that speaks your language on stage. That is one of my biggest things. Somebody that understands and believes and supports you. So people often ask about us about like, will you do all of these different events? Do you care about all these different events? I will be very super honest. We are in a really great place in our life and we do not have to take events that we do not believe in. So we get to take an organization that maybe doesn't align with our values and send it to somebody that we trust that it aligns with their values, because there is a professional out there that fits you specifically. I am not one size fits all. Bobby is not one size fits all. In fact, Bobby is king of animal events. And I am not, although
I love animals.
Oh, I kind of want to buy a puppy at an auction. Anyway, I am queen of gender equity events. So anything that does with women's stuff, any LGBT events, any human equity events, that is my jam. I was a women's studies major in college. I'm an activist. I care about these things. So I focus on my direction on working on those groups. That said, there are groups out there. There are auctioneers out there that specialize. We have a friend that used to be a pastor and loves religious events. Like he's a pastor. I mean, so people understand. People at the event are like, oh, he speaks our language because he used to be a pastor. Like they feel his energy and already know he fits. Yeah. So there are so many different auctioneers, fundraising hosts that fit. And if you don't know one, reach out to one. Please. Reach out to us and we will direct you to one in your network, in your community. We have so many friends.
Nationwide.
We have international friends there, buddy.
We do. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely. So now, Erin, we have to wrap this up. We've got just a few more minutes here.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all get a sweet Valentine and chocolate.
I hope it's chocolate.
And love and all of that.
And I hope it's chocolate.
Yes. Yes, you will be getting chocolate later.
Chocolate.
She hasn't had it yet. Soon. Very soon. And lots of loving. So with this.
Chocolate.
With this give from the heart and paddle raise only style event. Let's break this down just to like right in like just the nuts and the bolts.
Are they still listening to us? They're not tuned out yet? You're still here? You're still excited for chocolate? All right, let's go. Okay. Do it. Come on,
so
Bobby.
We're going to give you the bare minimum of what you need for a paddle raise only event.
All right, let me hype them up. We're going to set the foundation.
Set the foundation. Tell a story.
That's like number 3. I feel like set the foundation, builds the event, set the expectations, tell the story, hit them with an amazing fundraising auctioneer.
And host.
Okay,
there's that. What else are the other elements that they need to have?
Are we going past that to the other side of the bell curve?
No, we're still leading up to it.
Oh, I thought that was
You need a paddle.
Oh, paddle.
You need a paddle. And you need
I just think, like, who doesn't have a paddle? Like, why? Why is that even a thing?
We have to have this conversation weekly with potential clients and our current clients. Why do we have to paddle? Anyway, we talked about that. But they have to have a paddle. And that paddle of their number needs to be connected to their person. And if you want to make it easy to get that dollars in your bank account, make sure that they pre-swipe a credit card. They have their payment information on file with you, paddle, and a way that you can track all of that. So that is a vital ingredient. Probably one of the most important. What else? What else do we need?
I just had a really good idea for one of my clients. I can't wait to go call them right after this. I'm sorry. I just have so many good ideas right now about paddle raises. What else?
What else do they need? We need donors. We need guests in the room that are motivated to give.
They know that already.
But it's an important ingredient because you could fill the room.
All right, you broke it down with bare bones. What else? How many more minutes do we have?
Like 4 more minutes.
4 more minutes.
So we definitely have to have the people that are motivated and have capacity to give.
And we've told their story.
And we told their story.
And we've set them up for their expectations for
Yes.
the event. And we've set their expectations for mission, trust, honesty. We've shown integrity. We've shown that they can believe in something. And then we've led them to a place where they can make a difference.
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing. Letting somebody make a difference, because that's what we all were taught as children, especially the millennials, that we were important and we can make a difference. And a paddle raise is how. And that's all they want to know. They're like, my mom said I can do anything in the world. How do I do it?
Raise your paddle.
Raise your paddle.
That's it.
There you go.
That's it. Okay, so raise all of these elements. Now we're going down the other side of the bell curve. What else do we need to have within our event?
Chocolate.
Chocolate, dessert. You got to give them something sweet. There needs to be a surprise and delight at the end of the night.
So, because we are wrapping this up, and I think we should do an event, we should do a podcast about after the paddle raise.
Yes.
I think that one thing that we should touch on is just what Bobby is talking about is donors who, especially millennials, because I just chatted about them, are giving test donations, they're giving small donations. And it is the way you make them feel in that very moment that will change your future of philanthropy within their hearts. So that said, the moment that they raise a paddle, they are thanked. They have made eye contact. They feel good. That moment should feel good to them if you want them to give again.
Mm-hmm.
But what Bobby's talking about is a surprise and delight, which means after the event, after they're done with program of the event, there is something sweet. There is something thoughtful, mindful. This could be a thank you card, a cookie, a dessert bar.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole podcast on this. But
Yes.
what it is that final impression that you are leaving with your guests, keeping that feeling, nice and high and in their hearts and in their minds, that as they're going into the, on their way home, but then also waking up the next day, they're around the water cooler, they're, maybe at church, they're maybe at a kid's function or something like that. And they're able to share this experience that they just had. I was just at this great event. They've got this great mission. We were able to raise their paddle and they're doing such great work. Let me tell you some more. And it's with that feeling where they're able to be your best advocates. They're able to, create this word of mouth buzz that's around it. And then that also makes it easy for you, the fundraising professional, to then pick up that phone. Thank you for coming to our event. Thank you so much for making an impact with us. Can I take you out to coffee? Can I give you another opportunity to be involved with us? Maybe join our board.
Thank you for supporting during the paddle raise. Because of you, we were able to X.
Yeah.
Let's reiterate that because and tell them that they did the job that we told them they were going to do.
And that, I would say, probably is the most important factor of Give from the Heart paddle raise only events, is that you are transforming guests into donors, and they're providing that test donation, $100, $500, whatever it might be. But this is where they are going to test you and see if you can build trust within them for them to give you more money. And then now that's a whole nother conversation. Post-event gratitude strategies.
Love it.
Process. Oh my gosh.
And after the paddle raise,
Yeah.
right from that moment, from the you've raised your paddle, now what? That's our next podcast, I think, that you should do
you've
about it.
raised your paddle, so now what?
Yep.
I love it.
All right, reasons people give in a paddle raise.
Beautiful.
I love it.
All
Thanks for
right.
being part of this. Thank you for believing that there is something different about the world that needed to be fixed.
Yes.
Because that's what you are as a fundraiser, is believing that the world needs to be a better place, and you can help it do that.
And you have control. You are the one to be able to truly change the trajectory of your organization. And sometimes it's a little scary. Sometimes it's a little, there's some risk that's involved in that. But by working with professionals that have been doing this for many, many years, you can mitigate that risk. You can really set your audience and your whole event up for success. So you've got to take that chance. Just as much as we want our donors to stretch and we want them to grow, we want you to stretch and we want you to be able to grow and look at the event from a different lens. Let's look at it from outside of the typical gala box.
I like it.
All right. Well, good.
Let's get some chocolate.
Let's do it. You definitely deserve some. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for listening to Heart of the Gala podcast. My name is Bobby D.
And I'm Erin, and we are with Inspire Hearts Fundraising. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, your talent, your treasures, being part of the belief and doing you.
Most important thing, We love you for what you're doing. Thank you so much again for watching and listening. And everyone, we'll see you out there. So now go out, aspire to inspire, and change the world.
You're so cheesy.
You can have the last word.
He's so cheesy. I love him so much.
Bye, everyone.